Introducing the Egyptian Theater News Team, live from downtown DeKalb with Aaron Cronin, Brandon Pugh, Alex Nerad, Janine Holcomb, Nora Reeves, Cody Williams, Peter Lindsay, Alejandro Tracani. The Egyptian Theater News Team coming to you live on Facebook at the top of the hour, every hour on May 5th for Give DeKalb County. Get ready for lights, camera, donate.
Welcome back, Facebook friends. We're back here live at 11 a.m. I want to give a big thank you to the donors that have contributed over this last hour. We've got Vince Boone, Jill Bugier, Leanne Embry, Jamie and Cindy Deutsch, Linda Hanold, Jan Kuntz, Dolly Parton, not sure if it's the real Dolly or not, Pamela Wittenhall, and Chuck Wrigley. So a big thank you to all of our donors that have contributed over the last hour. So let's check the leaderboard and see where we are at right now. So we are currently at, drum roll, $3,665, making great progress there. 45 donors so far have donated today, so we're really excited about that. Big thank you to everybody that has donated so far. Again, as a reminder, anyone that has mailed in donations leading up to today, they will be releasing those throughout the day. So if you haven't seen your name yet, don't worry. Hopefully it will be coming soon. So without any further ado, I'm going to send it to Janine. She has a very special guest this hour that's going to be joining us virtually all the way from the East Coast. So we're going to head over to Janine's setup with Sam Crittenden. Let's head over to them right now.
Thank you, Alex. I am here with our next special guest and a good friend of mine, Sam Crittenden, who is joining us from New York City. So Sam, thank you. Thank you for joining us. How have you been?
I've been great. How are you doing? I'm so happy to be here.
We're so excited to have you even across, the United States here in Give DeKalb County. So tell us a little about yourself. What do you do? Why are we talking to you today?
If the pandemic taught us anything, it's that we all know how to use Zoom. I don't know if we learned anything else, but we all learned how to use Zoom for sure. What was the question you asked me? I started thinking about that joke and then just completely stopped listening to you after that.
No, it's good. I feel the joke is more important than the substance.
Exactly right.
So why, what do you do? What is your profession? And what's your relationship with the Egyptian theater?
So I'm a trombonist, an educator based out of New York City, but I grew up in DeKalb doing all things arts in DeKalb. I went to all the DeKalb public schools. I performed a couple times at the Egyptian theater. I was Daddy Warbucks and Annie when I was in 5th grade.
Right.
I went to a lot of Debbie's Dance Dimension 4-hour dance recitals for my sister. And saw all kinds of good stuff at the Egyptian theater, and I did a bunch of stuff through NIU. So I'm back just to talk about what kind of impact the arts in a small town like DeKalb really had on my life, and how it motivated me to do the things that I do now.
Yeah, so you've obviously covered the gamut of everything from public speaking to music and supporting your sister in, dancing. So what do you do now as, the adults as we feel that we are today as a professional artist?
Yeah, so I do a lot of things. For a long time, I was traveling with a band called Sammy Miller and the Congregation, which I actually had the good fortune to perform at the Egyptian Theater while I was playing with them. And we formed an education company called Playbook. So I do a combination of performing, playing trombone, doing anything else that anybody else will pay me to do that's arts related, or teaching, because I really love to teach too. And really everything that I try to do is how can I take the talents that I have and the things that I've learned how to do and just make somebody feel good with the effort that I have, and how can we share in an experience of feeling good or letting out the thing you're feeling sad about. Anything it is that you need to do, I'm here to serve you in that kind of way with the trombone, which is not necessarily something you would think would be the case, but I promise I will help you through that journey.
Well, it's true. I feel it's become very apparent how much the arts truly just feed your soul, especially when they're quickly taken away from you during a pandemic. And I love that you talk about the education side, because when you were back here performing with Sammy Miller, you actually did some master classes at the middle school and high school level. Can you talk about what that was like to go back to your old stomping grounds and work with students?
Man, it's awesome. We do that a lot, or we did that a lot. Everywhere we go in the country, the congregation tries to stop through and meet with students in that town and just kind of show them what it's like to be around professional musicians and give them that inspiration. But to actually be able to come back to DeKalb, where I was inspired myself and where I had so many good teachers, and both in music and, you talked about speech with Mr. Solomon and Mr. Fontana, just all these teachers who really were such positive impacts on my life. For me to be able to come back to that same place and give kids that boost, just kind of that little nod that's like, you can do this if this is something that's fun for you, or if this is something that makes you feel good. Like, it's not something to be intimidated by. Let's just hang out and have a good time. It's really special to be able to come back and give that to the place that gave that to me.
Well, I love that. The intimidation part. What my favorite part of watching you with the jazz kids was talking about, hey, if you're terrified to solo, pick one note and just find a rhythm. And how cool that is and then we host Jazz at the Egyptian with DeKalb High School and Sycamore High School and NIU, and to watch some of these kids who are 14 or 15 get up on stage and do their first solo. What does that mean to you when you can see someone right in front of your eyes get that confidence?
It really is, genuinely, it is the best feeling for me in the world. It's better than me playing the best solo that I've ever played myself. Like, it's better than anything in the world to have a kid who's like, I can't do it. And then they stand up and play, and you can literally see on their face and in their whole body that they have this moment. And we've all had this moment around something where they're just like, oh my God, I just did that. And that wasn't as horrible as I thought it was. We were out in LA one time, and this, like, the smallest high school girl I've ever seen in my life was playing a tuba that was like the size of her. And we were trying to get her to do this thing and she ended up crying instead of playing. And so we were like, oh my God, you poor thing. But after the class was over, the class started jamming, and you could see her in the back of the room just kind of with herself, like playing her tuba and trying to get in there a little bit. And it was like, we got it. It's okay to cry. You could cry, you could let it out, but you're going to get back in there after that. And it's awesome when that happens.
Well, and that's it. I feel music, art, anything really just, again, speaks to inside and who you are and bringing that out. So do you remember, your first time of like, I can do this, like that moment of confidence?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't, I don't remember the specific,
like the moment in time where
the first moment, but my story that I always fall back on is when I was going to be a freshman in high school. I went to the NIU jazz camp with Professor Ron Carter, who was here at that time, and he told me in no small words that I did not sound very good on my instrument. And it broke me. And I my mom worked in the building next to the music building, and I would go over at lunch and be like, I can't do it. I don't want to keep going. And she was like, you're going to be okay. And that was something that I needed to, you're going to be okay. And I think you could figure this out. All you have to do is practice and try, and it'll be okay.
Yeah.
And the last time I saw him, he gave me a huge hug, and he was like, how you doing, man? And I think it was just the longer term, that I remember learning, I was really upset about that thing, but it was okay,
Right.
And all it took was a little hard work and a little just trusting myself that it was going to be okay. And it was okay. I'm doing all right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No tears today, as they say.
I love that. So you have that moment of, coming up as a high schooler and figuring that out. So if you were to speak directly to our donors today and say, why is it important to support the Egyptian theater and arts in your community, as someone who was that little kid that was terrified and now is making it as an adult, what would you say to them as to why it's so important?
Because it's the most fun thing that those kids are going to do, especially for a lot of those kids. It really is. A lot of those kids, DeKalb has a lot of great athletics programs, especially not so much when we were in school, but now I know every time I come home, there are a lot of great sports going on. And I know there's a lot of support behind that, but DeKalb has a lot of great arts programs as well. And the legacy is not just like me talking to you, but I have friends just from my graduating class who are all over the country performing, teaching, composing. And the reason that they're doing that is not only because they're really good at that thing, but because they were given the opportunity to discover that that's who they are and that's the contribution that they can give to the world. And through that contribution, they can help make other people feel better, connect with other people, bring other people together. And all of that comes from the resources that they were given when they were in high school, when they were in middle school, the resources that were provided to them when they had the opportunity to be inspired. And so for people who are considering giving and providing that opportunity for another young kid who's coming up, that's what you're giving those kids.
Yeah, I love that. And I know I like the comparison of, the sports versus the arts is for the longest time, especially over the past, 2 years, 15 months of many of these young kids didn't get to perform, but sports still found a way. So the support of the arts is so strong. So is there any last thing you want to say to anyone watching today about the arts or just anything about Sam Crittenden?
I have nothing to say about Sam Crittenden, but I will say, and you touched on this already, the last couple of years have really helped us realize how easy it is to take the arts for granted in just ordinary times. There's always something else that we have to do and something else that we have to go to and some bill that we have to take care of or something else that we have to do. And it's really easy to forget how special it is to be able to go to a live performance or to be able to have your son or daughter have a really special experience in the arts. And then suddenly we couldn't do those things. And we realized how special they were. And as we're hopefully starting to transition out of that, I'm knocking on as much wood as I can. As we're hopefully transitioning out of that time, don't forget that thing that you came to realize over the last couple of years, because it was always there. We just kind of let it slip to the wayside. So that's the thing I'll leave you with.
Well, very well said, Sam. Thank you so much for joining us from New York and us figuring out Zoom. I am going to send it back to Alex in the studio.
Of course. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you so much, Janine, and thank you, Sam, for joining us. Absolutely amazing to be able to hear from somebody that grew up in DeKalb, performed here on our stage, and is out making music and still thinking fondly of the Egyptian theater here. So really great interview, and thank you again, Sam, for taking the time to talk with Janine today. As we wrap up this update, we have made some great progress. We are currently at $5,365. A bunch of those online mailed-in donations continue to get posted to the website. So we'll have an update at noon with all of those other donations that have come in. And Janine and I will be back here at the 12 o'clock hour over the lunch to bring you an exciting announcement. So make sure you tune in at the noon hour, and we will be back here. So again, go to lightscameradonate.org, make those donations. You've got till midnight tonight, and we'll see you back here at 12 o'clock.